Good evening, everybody. It's AJ coming at you with a rather exciting update to the 75-gallon reef tank. I've got some big changes that are going to be taking place and just figured I'd share them with you. So we'll go ahead and start with the left side. Over here you will see I've got some kalkwasser. I am going to be switching my system over to a primarily kalkwasser system for my calcium alkalinity, and I will be supplementing the two-part in addition to that. And here's the reason why, guys. So I've been testing my elements regularly, and I even did it every day for like 2 weeks, and was constantly adjusting my dosage. And it got to the point where I was dosing 250 milliliters a day in calcium and alkalinity just to maintain, my levels of around 420 and around 10 DKH, which is what I like. So if you think about it, that means about every 2 weeks I was going through a gallon of two-part, which for this size of tank and the amount of frags I have is a lot. So I figured there's got to be a more affordable way, and that's really the big reason why I wanted to switch. So I've heard of people running kalkwasser and calcium reactors, the calcium reactors for their dosage, and then the kalkwasser to kind of help keep things steady as well as keep an elevated pH, which I also want to do as well. So I went ahead and got that, and because the amount of two-part my system takes, I am doing the full two teaspoons per gallon in my auto top-off, and I am just letting that auto top-off right now and dose accordingly. I went ahead and turned off my dosing pump for the time being. I'm gonna do that for 5 to 6 days, and then I'm gonna see what my levels are, testing each day, and then of course figure out what my levels are at, what I would like them to be, and supplement the two-part dosage daily based off of what I get off of that. So I'll be using kalkwasser. I was going to use bulk resupply kalkwasser, but I was also looking for the other stuff on the table that bulk resupply did not have, so I actually just went ahead with the Two Little Fishies kalkwasser. So be on the lookout for that here in the next couple weeks, where, like I said, you'll see me dosing kalkwasser in my auto top-off, the full 2 teaspoons per gallon, and then I'll be supplementing my two-part with calcium and alkalinity dose directly from my doser, which I'm hoping, if all goes as planned, I go down from 250 milliliters a day of two-part down to, if I go below 50, that'll be awesome. Or even if I cut it in half and go below 125, that would still be awesome, because this whole thing, which will probably last me more than a year, was $10 versus the $50 or so every couple months in two-part mixes. So I'll give you an update on that. The next big thing is these two items right here. Is you will see that I am going to a full zeovit system. So I am going to use the Brightwell Aquatic zeovit just because I am very happy with their other products that I use. I will start out by doing, it recommends that you do 200 grams each week for 100 gallons. Given that I've got about 80 gallons of water volume, I'm going to be doing 160 grams. That'll be for the first 2 weeks, and then after that I add another 160 grams, and then for 2 more weeks, and then for the final 5 weeks another 160 grams on that, and then after 6 weeks of all the media being in there, I change out 25%. In addition to that, I will continue dosing the Microbacter 7 as well as the reef fuel, which based off their recommendations, it looks like it's already amounts that I'm dosing anyhow, so I really won't be changing anything there, just adding the media. And I will be adding it to this Bubble Magus zeovit reactor. I got this also off Amazon just because I was looking at the ones on bulk reef supply, and I'll be honest with you guys, it came down to cost. I really couldn't spend, I didn't have that kind of money to spend, and my levels of nitrate and phosphate, for some reason I can't get them to a low point where I feel comfortable. And I'm not really getting the growth and coloration out of my corals that I was back when I ran a refugium and everything like that, and I was reading 0 nitrate, 0 phosphates, and now I'm reading like 0.12 parts per million of phosphate, give or take, and then I'm averaging 5 to 12 parts per million of nitrate, and I've never had that problem before. So since I don't want to run a refugium, I figure the time has come to kind of go with the full zeovit system, and that's what I'll be doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed tonight with the media. This will be day 1. The Kalkwasser's already been in 2 days now, and I will give you guys an update here probably about a week, maybe 2, just so that way you know how everything is going. And I will also give you a review, or a better review, of this reactor. Just offhand, guys, it does seem like it's in good quality, good hard plastic and or PVC and acrylic, very similar to the protein skimmers. It obviously uses the same style pump as the skimmers. One thing that is kind of disappointing is there's no way to adjust the flow. This is just merely a screen, and there's no way to adjust the flow. So if they would ever incorporate maybe a DC, no, I can't get this back on there. If they'd ever incorporate maybe a DC style pump, that would probably be best. Based off of the chart that came with the instructions, the zeovit system recommends about 378 liters per hour, which is about 100 gallons per hour flow. And based off of, if I can find it, their little chart here, this tank gets maybe 400 to 500 liters per hour. 400 to 500 liters per hour, which is a little bit higher than what they recommend, but there's really no way to restrict it or slow down the pump, so I'll just deal with that. Also, the other thing that kind of jumps out at me is this exit, I guess the exhaust pipe right up here. Seems like it's going to be pretty high from in my sump and the water level, so it might make a lot of noises. So I might figure out a way to maybe get one of the Schedule 40 barbed ends put in here with maybe some nylon tube that goes down, just to kind of get it underneath the water lines, so that way it's not loud. I know a lot of people will have this hang over by their skimmer, which I'm toying with that idea, but I think it'll make changing my filter socks pretty hard to do. And plus, I also want to kind of use this to help feed the corals, because that's what the zeovit will do. Anyhow, everyone have a good evening. This is AJ, and I will give you some updates. Have a good night.